to the Trinity Force Podcast. Yo, it's that Triforce cast beaming straight to your home. Grab a beer so we know Pone ain't drinking alone. Send an email, a quick tweet, just pick up the phone. Leave a message, hit the beep if you're a creep, watch your tone. Discuss the meta game, patch notes, whatever helps your stats most. Obi-Pone Kenobi is your last hope to snatch gold. So grab your headphones and join in the fun. We'll try enforcing some jokes and some cringeworthy puns. Yo, we can make it together, people. Trinity Force Podcast. These boys are second to none. Now that's the end of the intro. It's time we begun.
Hey guys, welcome to Trinity Force Podcast. My name is Adam Ponophobia Cogswell, and I am your host for this evening, sounding much better than last week. Joined by four great guys. First and foremost, Punch and DeClauder here.
Hey. Howdy.
And then we have a special Aussie guest, Carrot Colossus from the OzLoL podcast.
Good morning, everybody.
Everybody who listens to this show should know him, as he is part of the Trinity Force network. He is our Aussie brethren who takes care of... I should say Aussie brethren, right? It's the Z, not the S.
Yeah.
I think we go over that every single time he's on the show.
I think after about the 15 times I've been on this show, you've finally corrected yourself. So thanks for finally getting around to it, Adam. It's good to know you actually care enough to, acknowledge us the way we should be acknowledged.
I don't have a good rebuttal to that other than something that's rude.
Yeah.
And Chira's here too, by the way.
Hey.
Last but always least.
Hi. Get out of here.
Hi. All right, guys. Let's first and foremost talk. Oh no, I just dropped my shit in my tea. My tea bag.
Why, you just dropped poop in your tea? That's disgusting.
Is that like some sort of metaphor for like this entire episode?
Yeah, this episode is poop and tea. That's what we're calling it.
That's the name of this episode.
Poop and tea.
Exploded tea bag. I don't know. The Aussie tea bag as he lays the Aussie smackdown.
The Aussie tea bag. Lee, what is the Aussie tea bag?
It's a good old English breakfast. I personally like Dilmah Extra Strength. It's a good brand. You should check it out. If you like tea, it's like the best tea I've ever had.
I think you mentioned that before.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
What's wrong with Lipton black tea?
It's all right. It's just not. It's not as good. Yeah. We're really specific about these things in Australia. Tea is like a real important
and Foster's.
Yeah, never Foster's.
I still think I really need to just pony up the $100 and send him a bottle of Foster's somehow.
Yeah.
So we can try and go, wow, this was a waste of your $100.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So we have a special event coming up on August 8th. It is a Bilgewater Aram event sponsored by Riot. You can win RP. Every single rank is open, so you can be Masters or Challenger or Diamond or Bronze 5. We don't care. Sign-up sheet will be going up on the subreddit, on the Facebook, and on the Twitter here shortly, as soon as we get it. You'll go sign up. It'll be 5v5 on the Bilgewater, what is it, the Murder Bridge? What are they calling it? What's the Arab map?
Butcher Bridge.
Butcher's Bridge.
Yeah,
I call it Murder. I call it Murder Bridge because that's the name it should be. It's gonna be a 5v5 draft tournament. So what we do is we pick captains, and those captains will pick their teams. And I think it's like a round robin round robin style format or whatever you want to call it. They'll just pick their teams and they'll go play, and the winner will get some RP and all that good stuff because it's sponsored by Riot. So that is August 8th at about 3 p.m. Eastern time because it goes live right after Bronze Boot Camp. So we'll do Bronze Boot Camp. Then we'll play those, and we'll have fun, and we can win RP, and everyone will rejoice and enjoy it. So, guys, August 8th, the sign-up sheet will be going live here very shortly. Secondly, thank you guys so much. It is the 29th of July. That means the Patreon only has 2 more days left, so by the time you have received this podcast, your credit card will have started to be charged. So if your credit card has been charged within a few days, excuse me, I'm still kind of recovering, so it's hard. Within a few days of your credit card being charged, you'll receive an email from us. It will go out. You'll either get an email that states, send us your replay, or you'll get your Champions Select podcast within a couple times a month. And if you're worried about July, because the Nami episode doesn't get recorded until the actual 1st of August, anybody who was a July patron does get that, or June. I guess it's technically a June patron. If you were meant to get 2 podcasts, you're always going to get 2 podcasts. Let's put it that way. Even if it goes a little late, you're going to get that other podcast. So we're going to make sure everyone's taken care of. And if you don't receive emails from me, I've sent out 4 of them this month. If you haven't received one, email feedback@trinityforcepodcast.com with the email address you sent up for Patreon, and I will take care of you. Because I know some people have said they haven't received emails. And I can't really do anything about it. I use Patreon to take care of it. And if their mail server fucks up, what do you want me to do? I'm not an IT at Patreon.
It's clearly your fault still, Adam. We're still going to blame you.
That's right.
You might as well. Also, guys, go check out the T-Force Network subreddit because the T-Force RPG signups are going. That community is growing very large. They're doing lots of D&D, and that will be reflected on the website here shortly.
For anybody who's like had some reservations about doing this stuff, or anybody who's even remotely interested, go give it a try. I guarantee you have a good time. The people that are running it are pretty solid, and if you get in one of LeShock's groups, which is one of the groups that I'm in, it's a whole lot of fun, and a whole lot of really funny stuff happens.
Good chance you'll be mauled by a surprise owlbear.
Like, yeah, I jumped up in the air, and Michael Jordan cut some weird ogre creature in half last night. So just if you want just high fantasy gameplay, go check out the T-Force RPG stuff. It's great.
That's right.
Owlbears are the best kind of surprise.
I hear they have owlbears in Australia. If you just go out in the outback.
Yes. They're not the apex predator. It's still the drop bear. You're still going to fear the drop bear.
Rumor has it that you mauled one with your bare hands, and that you have the head on your, mounted in your living room above the fireplace.
Yeah, I'd show it to you. The cameras. Yeah,
probably on your way to work. Right?
Obviously, it's like initiation. Like basically, we get left out at birth. And they leave us out in the open, and if we don't come back with the head of a drop bear, then we're just not Australian enough. They send us back.
And they send you back?
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to make a really bad joke right there, but we're not going to do that because we are a really good podcast over here. We are not, we're not going to go there.
We're desperately searching for things to talk about.
No, we actually have things to talk about. I've just been hiding it from you all because I'm fun like that. So we did. I do tell you guys, if you would like to donate, you can always say, "Hey, he's drinking Hell or High Watermelon" by 21st Amendment.
Your recommendation?
Yes, it's very good. There's a $2 donation that came in last week. If you want to send a donation in, you can go find the donate page on TradingForceNetwork.com. He writes in and says, "Hey guys, I'm a Plat 2 player and I'm not exactly the most analytical player. I basically got to Plat for mechanics alone. How do you beat Vladimir in lane? It's something I've struggled with for a long time. I struggle to play against him or any bruiser. Even Silver Vlads have crushed me."
Okay, I want to bring up Riven, because for a long time, Riven has kind of been the go-to counter for Vladimir. But lately, I've been hearing from Riven players that it's just not the case anymore.
It's not. If you're playing the new and improved Vladimir, as soon as you get that Woda, Riven's not an issue anymore.
Okay.
Because that matchup used to be terrible. I play a whole lot of Vlad, and I honestly haven't run into like a nightmare matchup at the moment with the new itemization changes. So,
yeah, I mean, I was playing with somebody who first picked Rowan the other day, and they banned Vladimir. And then, a couple days earlier than that, somebody was talking about, Vladimir counters Riven now. And it just blew my mind. Like, what? Because they used to be the go-to counter. I was, Riven just shits on Vlad. Yeah. So that really surprised me.
At this point with Vladimir, I don't think there are, besides Fiddlesticks, Fiddlesticks is the only laner that I can think of at the top of my head that completely decimates a Vladimir. Because he can drain through pool.
Yeah, Fiddle's been a solid thing. I mean, I could see you making an argument for Fizz with, the built-in Grievous Wounds. But
didn't he lose that?
Yeah, he did lose that. Never mind, Fizz is out.
Well, I'm thinking,
is it just Fiddle's extremely solid because not only can you drain through the pool, but as soon as he comes out of pool, you just silence and he can't get some of his health back. So he lost 20% of his health from pool. You're doing more damage, and then you either silence or you can just fear him right out.
Could you take a Rise in the top lane against him and just farm it out?
You could take a lot of characters like that. You could take Aurelia, Malzahar, Swain, for example, and kind of farm it out. Though Swain is probably going to get pushed in under tower the more I think about it, and he's not really that great as top lane. I see Malzahar or Aurelia doing very well against him. Gnar, I can see also Gnar doing
be all right.
pretty well.
It becomes a situation.
Pre-Woda, you can get him with Riven.
Yes,
if you can set him back pretty far.
Pre-Woda, he has some issues. Once he gets his Woda, it's a whole different ball game. But another major piece of this is if you can play a champion that's able to farm without being necessarily in threat range of Vlad, or who can poke out at Vlad and or shove the wave extremely hard and force Vlad under turret so that he's forced to use his Q not for harass, because his Q now with Woda is ridiculous because it gives him so much health back and he's doing damage. Yeah. If he has to use it to farm, he's not using it on you. And until he has points in his E, he can't farm as well under turret, because people who haven't played a ton of games on Vlad, his auto attack animation is very slow. So
Chira, let me know if I'm on the right path here. So when I'm thinking about playing against Vladimir, and I'm thinking back to why Riven was good against him, it was because she was able to force his pool, and then once pool was over, she can engage on him again. So I'm thinking, if I'm going to play somebody like Aurelia, I'm going to farm for a bit, because the first few levels, I'm not going to be able to do much. But once I get 3 or 4 levels in, I should be able to all-in him and force his pool. And then when that pool is up again, go on him again. That's what I would try to do if I'm going to play against Vlad.
I never had
what are your
a
thoughts on
problem
that,
against him as Pantheon either, due to early aggression though, and with Ignite.
Well, I mean, the Ignite's definitely going to help. The only issue you're going to be running into is if you have Ignite,
if he gets to Woda,
and you don't kill, don't kill Vlad with that Ignite, and I've been running Ignite on Vladimir because he is kind of overbearing early now. You can still run Teleport, that's not a problem. But if you're running Ignite and he's not running Ignite, and you don't kill him, you are in for not very just a terrible time, because he's gonna go back and buy his Woda when he feels like it, and then you don't have any kill potential on him for a while. But I like what you're saying though, with like being able to wait, like, because Vlad's a lot of his damage comes from his cooldowns anyway, like most other champions, but like Vlad in particular. That's why Zhonya's used to be such a popular item on him. It's you have like X amount of seconds to eat the extra time so that your cooldowns can come back up. A lot of people will buy Boots of Lucidity on him. Some people buy move speed. There's a whole bunch of different ways to do it right now, and his build path's pretty fun right now too, because Woda basically he can build anything he feels like it afterwards.
Carrot, what do you have to say?
Oh, sorry, I was just going to ask, what about, I mean, you sort of suggested somebody who can poke and push the wave. What about someone like a Caitlyn? I mean, obviously, if Vlad gets on top of her, she's not going to have a fun time. But, could you, because she's not only got the poke and the range, but also her ultimate. If he pulls away, as long as you've still got vision, you should be able to still trigger, you might still be able to get a kill on him. How about that as a solution?
I mean, you could make an argument for it working, but then you run into a situation where like Caitlyn,
Kate top.
Yeah, you have Kate top, and
okay.
It's not exactly like Kate's not super. If you're playing any jungler with a CC and you can get the Caitlyn,
yeah,
she's probably dead.
Well, if you want a top laner,
I guess I've seen Vlad mainly in mid, so that's I guess why I thought, Caitlyn.
Well, if you want
Vlad in top.
If you want something that's like an ADC that could do it, Quinn could probably take care of him for a bit, but she would have to be solid before. The problem that comes with Vlad is all he has to do is farm to 6. Then once he has that like 6 spike, he kind of starts decimating the lane and pushing it out.
Once he gets 6 and Woda, it becomes a situation where like if he was able to farm well early and he like you don't have the ability to just crush him, he's going to turn around certain fights that you wouldn't think that he can, because as soon as you go to hard engage on him, if he has that Woda, he drops his ult on you and then can put a bunch of damage into you. He's getting a significant chunk of health back, and then he can just pool. He's doing more damage. And you're taking way more damage than you necessarily thought you would.
Chira, question for you. I never really noticed a hard timer being bullied when I played Sion against him. If he uses transfusion while my shield is up and he doesn't knock down the shield, does it heal anything on him? Does it heal the damage he did to the shield?
His Q heals anything that it does damage to.
Because I've never really had a problem. Maybe because I max E first and I can keep chunking him down. And then if he pulls, it's over because I can time my Q and everything like that. It's no problem. But I would say if with these new changes here, play Vladimir. Play Vladimir
he's
as
so
much
good
as you
right
can,
now.
and see who kicks your butt. Learn his ins and outs and see who you have trouble with, and be like, okay, that's why I lost to this champion. Maybe I should try that champion now. And there's my ticket to beating Vlad. So know your enemy, play him, know his ins and outs, and that's the best way.
Like with the Riven being better than him sort of thing, don't bank on a champion that used to be solid in the past necessarily being good against him now. The atomization changes have really like ramped up the amount of damage he does earlier in the game, because in the past it became a situation where like Vlad needed to farm X amount of gold before you started seeing him being that split pushing monster. Now he gets a Woda and he's incredibly hard to force out of lane and even win a 1v1 against if you just can't murder him like within moments of him going into or out of his pool. He's really strong right now. I've been preaching the Blood Man's return for like the past 2 weeks to Adam. I talk about it all the time. But he's really good right now. I like him a lot.
So to comment on what Lee was saying a little bit ago, instead of pushing him to the tower, I think what I would want to try is to have him push on me. And again, I'm thinking to play Aurelia into him. And I'll have him push on me, and Aurelia's good at farming on the turret, so I can get those first few levels before I can go in on him. And with Aurelia going against AP, I like building 3 null magic mantles. I turn 1 into the boots, I turn 1 into Hex Drinker, and I turn 1 and I sit on the 3rd one for a while and eventually turn into Guardian Angel. But with that flat magic resist I can get from those 3, I can do really good all-in trading potential with the AP opponent. So if the next time I go against Vladimir, I think that's what I'm going to try.
Let's see how it works. So the thing is, you got to be careful of him diving you with that pull. So if he's poking you a little bit apart and you're stuck at your turret and you're slowly losing a little bit of life here and there from him poking, and the turret's slowly starting to take some damage, and you're not really getting too much farm because your turret's being an asshole and stealing some of it, he can find that sweet moment to just dive you and get out with his pull.
Yeah, so you don't want to get stuck under the turret too long.
Tough. Yeah,
but that's why I like Aurelia, because she's really good at last hitting her turret, and she doesn't need to do it for too long.
Right, she can reset her cooldowns.
And I mean, the other thing, I guess, in lower elo is people don't always know how to take an advantage. So even if Vlad is kicking your butt in top lane, that doesn't mean you can't go to another lane and make something happen, or push down towers. The coordination factor is a big thing. So if you end up in a situation where you can't solo 1v1 somebody and they are seriously kicking your butt, go to mid, go to bot, go to dragon, do something else. Like, don't just stand there and become a punching bag for the rest of the game.
That's
you can also,
you can defeat things with strategy.
Like another probably solid champion would be somebody like Tryndamere, who has a pretty decent time farming under turret because he does a significant amount of damage. If Vlad wants to go all crazy ult on him, you can just ult out and not really worry about it.
Yeah. And
also Vlad's not a very fast champion, so you can just kind of chase him down once his pool's over
he doesn't take Ghost that much anymore, does he?
No. You used to see the Ghost Flash combo just because you would take Ghost in lane since that lane's so long and you could basically use Pool as your Flash. I've been playing him super aggressive with Ignite lately just because most people don't realize that the new Vlad does more damage because the AP itemization helps him out so much. And it's funny because I'm looking at champion.gg's the champions that are best against Vlad, which is at the moment Riven, Aatrox, and Yasuo, but I love fighting Riven and Yasuo as Vlad right now. I have no problem fighting Yasuo whatsoever. You can just Q right through his wind wall.
Aatrox is interesting.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that enough Aatrox Vlad matchups. I haven't seen it at all, I don't think.
Well, it might be just the situation where Aatrox isn't going to get all in by Vlad because Vlad blows ult on him and then his passive just procs and he Qs out once he reses.
God damn it.
Tahm Kench.
No, I got shit going on over here on my
Top
side.
Tom versus Vlad.
I'm probably gonna have to let you guys do most of the talking in this podcast because my sound just went off wacky.
It's freaking Scarlet, man.
No, I think what it is it turns out to be that I have too much static in the room and then the thing fucks up or something wrong with my computer because
the electric personality. All right, we'll talk.
It works fine until I get on Skype, and it's only Skype. I hate this program so much. But I'll try to push through it with this. No, what I wanted to get into and talk about this show was climbing, and because there's a question that comes in here later. We've talked about the one-trick ponies as well. Scott writes in, he says, TLDR, I've been with my first love of Udyr forever, and he knows me and I know him, but I feel like I've plateaued. Should I move on or continue to master him? I have fun. Say it is fun with Udyr, but my first love, I'm not sure if the grass is greener. And essentially, he was telling about how much fun he's had with Udyr, how far he's climbed, but now he's plateaued at a certain rank. And there was a point that I wanted to start bringing up.
Do you know what rank that is?
No, I don't remember, no.
Okay.
No, there's a point that I wanted to bring up here with this is that if you ever plateau if you're ever playing the game and suddenly you plateau or hit a wall, it's because as a player in your skill level you've hit obviously plateau means you've hit your peak of what your current knowledge is or your current skill level can take you. No matter what champion you play, it's not going to bring you to that next level if you don't have that next level of game knowledge to push yourself forward. So if you are a Bronze 2 player stuck in Bronze 5, you might find that in champion that suits your particular skill level, your particular mechanics well, but that doesn't mean. But you might never make it past Bronze 2 with that champion because your mechanics with that champion can only take you so far. Because there's something else there's something holding you back. Let's say this guy has made it to plat 5 with Udyr but can't get it out any further, and that tells me he's really good with the champion, and he has pretty good mechanics, but he's probably lacking awareness. He's probably lacking objective control knowledge. He's lacking dragon control knowledge. He's lacking timers. He's lacking potential CS or understanding how to snowball games with the lead. There's all these little things you can learn, and I can't tell you without watching a game what it is, but that's kind of like wanting to open up this discussion here, is at what point can you tell you plateau, and how do you get to that next level that if you feel like you've hit that spot?
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying, because it's not, don't look at it as the angle of, okay, this champion took me this far, what other champion will take me higher? It's not the champion. It's all the foundation that you have with your game knowledge that you have to identify. And I think that article about scrub mentality that we did a long time ago, if anybody remembers the episode number, I think that for me, that helped me get over a piece, because I'm like, oh, you know what? I never thought about that as scrub mentality, but yeah, it is holding me back. You know, it's you got to get over little personal things that are holding yourself back. So try to identify that. Am I only playing honorably? You know, do I see something where if someone's AFK, I won't kill them? Well, that's probably why you're not climbing.
Episode 207.
Take advantage of that.
Murder the crap out of the AFKers.
There you go. You know, little things like that. You know, I lost my integrity, but you know, I had to do what I had to do.
I mean, like, the aim of the game is to have fun as well. So if you're having fun with Udyr, play Udyr. Like, it's, you know, if you're having a frustrating time in ranked, like, the best time to play a champion that you love is when you're stuck and you don't, you know, because if you start trying to branch out and you start playing under many champions, you start getting more frustrated, you just make your job harder, because at the end of the day, you're supposed to be having fun. So, you know, don't necessarily feel like you have to find another champion. It could just be circumstance, you know, like this game is, you know, there's 9 other people who are not you, and, you know, you could just get stuck because you just get a bad run, and, you know, you just got to play through it, and then eventually you'll have a good run, and you just got to be in the right mindset when the opportunity comes to play well with a bunch of people who aren't morons, that you know, you need to be there. So Udyr might be the best one to take.
You had a good seg there into the next piece that I want to talk about. That is, what do you want out of the game? I don't think a lot of people stop and ask themselves, what do I want out of this game? What am I looking to do? Am I looking to get the highest rank as fast as I can, or am I in it for the long haul where I learn a lot about the game and then I get to the highest rank that I can get to?
Or am I fun?
Yeah.
What? Like it blows my mind too, because I feel like everybody's on this rat race to try and rank up as well, and like, I don't want to shatter certain people's dreams, but if you've been stuck in like a lower rating for a long time, there's definitely a reason you've been stuck there. And if you just keep pumping out a bunch of games and you don't seem to be improving, you need to like look big picture as to what you're trying to get out of the game and kind of what you're putting into the game, because I doubt it's super positive if you've stayed in the same spot. That being said, there's also nothing wrong with being stuck in like bronze 1 or silver 1 or gold 5 or whatever. Again, this is a game. Realistically, if you're like trying to grind rank, if you're doing it just for bragging rights, unless you're like in the top level of masters, doesn't really mean dog shit.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know what? Don't feel bad if you're stuck somewhere, because, well, I'm not too good of an example because I'm not all that good, but if I was throwing in bronze 1, I'd probably be stuck there a while trying to get out. You know, it depends. No matter how good you are.
That's me.
Yeah, you could be really good, but you still rely on your team a lot of the time. Now, there are things you can learn that can help improve your chances, like know how to be carried and how to carry. At that level, bronze level, you want to learn how to carry. But also maybe there's similar like-minded people trying to actually get out of there who you can work with. You know, as long as you have the basic knowledge, maybe you can exploit something that you see. And if you learn objectives, especially with Udyr, objectives are king. If you can take down objectives, if you're just going for kills, farming, trying to build yourself up to this awesome thing because you just love building your character and seeing big damage numbers, you probably not going to win because you rely on your team to actually stay with you.
On Udyr,
so just kill all the turrets in the Nexus as fast as you can, and you win.
As cool as like getting full build and being invincible 1v1 in a lot of situations. If the game gets that far, you probably didn't do your job because you're one of the most powerful early game junglers. Why haven't you won by then?
Right. So push turrets when in doubt. Just go, oh shit, I need to bring this game along. Like, come on, let's go.
And to kind of comment on Udyr a little bit more, he's actually becomes a little complex in the mid and late game because he's not necessarily someone that can just group with his team and then mow down the enemy team in a big team fight. Like a lot of the time, Udyr actually wants to split push. Again, depending on the team comp, but Chira can probably comment on this a lot.
Oh, it's so annoying.
I mean, there are certain comps where you don't want to play Udyr into, and you definitely don't want to team fight into. Like if you're playing against a Morgana.
If you're playing against Janna, Morgana, playing Udyr into Jinx isn't super fun if she hasn't blown her fire trap bullshit yet. Or damn flame
Which means you got to find another way to be effective, like split pushing. And identifying when to split push is an entire another conversation.
Oh yeah, seeing the split push Udyr who just runs 1,000,000 miles an hour, and we're more powerful. We're gonna team fight. Yep. Oh crap, we gotta answer Udyr because he just mowed down our turret and inhibitor, and he's gonna win the game.
Well, especially if he's able to do that and dip out. Like that's a huge power to have. Oh, they leave you alone on a turret for 20 seconds and you can kill it, but you can just light speed jet out of that bitch. They're gonna have to send more than one person to deal with you because hopefully by that point in the game, you're tanky enough to where they're not going to just kill you if one person shows up.
Try buying more wards to watch your
back helps too.
To help you get out. So you have advanced warning to start doing your little stance.
Or upgrade your trinket for...
If I'm ever on a split pushing champion, I like to upgrade yellow
Let's not get started on that topic. I mean, the other thing is Udyr is great as cleanup crew. That is, you wait till the fight, if they're 4v5, you wait till... Because, if they... Quite often, a team will engage, use all of their summon, all of their abilities, and then they won't necessarily have anything for if you come in, if you've been split pushing, and you come in towards the end of the fight, and then just start wrecking face because you're Udyr, you're tanky, you're fast, you do lots of damage. Like, there's not much they can do to stop that. So, especially if you're coming through the jungle as opposed to running down the middle of a lane.
And don't be afraid to be a peel bot too. Like, you have a very awesome stun that you can use on more than one person.
Like, and you know what, Scott, you probably know a lot of this because Udyr's your main. You probably know all this, and you're based on your question. I don't think you should go the grass is greener, let me try another champion route to continue advancing. I think Adam started off well with take a look at your foundation, take a look at everything else, and try to pick that apart. The tips about Udyr that we're giving here are ways to help if, for example, we're assuming bronze, we don't know, or silver. In that point where how you can help your team win if you're worried about the rest of your team preventing you from advancing. So I don't want you to take it as a slight. You're sitting here, okay, shut up guys, I know all this crap. Move on to something that'll actually be useful. Adam started off with what you need to do.
And a good way to kind of identify what parts of your foundation need to work on, and this might not be possible, but it's just a general idea, something that worked for me, is to join a ranked 5s team. Because when I joined a ranked 5s team, that boosted my elo a lot. Because I learned a lot about the game through all aspects. There's constant communication, there's constant objective focus, knowing what objectives to take when, and people talking back and forth. So in solo queue, I could recognize, okay, this is what we should be going for next. And if you get really good at that, you can start directing your team towards that. Like, hey guys, we shouldn't be chasing through their jungle that's unwarded. We should be taking this tower in mid lane. Just try and do something like that, because I can teach you a lot about the game and all facets of the foundation of the game.
And in defense of picking a new champion, I mean, a good reason to get a new champion is to make the game fun in a new way. So,
it's getting stale,
yeah.
Well, that's it. So it's if there's, I mean, I don't know, for me, I started off playing support with just tanky champions, so Thresh and Leona and Alistar and stuff. So I started playing, at one point, Morgana a lot more, because I'm like, well, I don't really know how to play an AP support, so that's something you might want to consider as well, like finding who is the opposite of Udyr in the jungle. Okay, I'll go that person because then I can push myself in a new way, and as a result, like as a consequence, you might actually learn more about the game, because most of what we do in this game is intuitive. That is, you just pick it up as you go along. You don't necessarily... I mean, you can consciously learn skills, but a lot of it's just muscle memory and...
It's experience. It's
repetition, yeah.
Right.
Picking up any champion might open up opportunities to see something. But, yeah, it's not a guarantee that you will go up higher in the ranks. It's just it gives you new experiences. It gives you new opportunities that maybe you didn't
or
have. Or
maybe
before.
It makes you realize why you loved Udyr in the first place.
That's it.
Absence makes the heart grow fonder. I think Lee did it again. He segued to the next part of Scott's question here. What would you say is the best routine to learn a new champion? I've tried playing custom by myself to get used to the abilities, then play bots PvP to get the combos down, then normals with videos watched between, but I think there has to be a more accelerated way. Obviously, my attempts have been great since my ranked win rates suck with anyone other than Udyr. Okay, I want to address first, you did like a crawl, walk, run, which is good. You don't have to worry about it unless... You shouldn't be in a rush to learn a new champion. If you're rushing, it sounds like maybe what you do want to get out of this game is to climb the ladder as fast as possible. Then it's going back down to basics. But playing bots, PvP, custom, and against bots is, in my opinion, it's more harmful than helpful because you get an overinflated idea of how powerful a champion is. You think, wow, this champion's OP, and then you play people and you get destroyed. So I would say use that for more practicing the basics, CSing, map awareness, little things like that.
Watch videos, go into team builder.
Normals draft mode is good because that's where people practice for ranked because it's kind of like ranked. So sometimes you'll get the trolls, you get dodgers or whatever, but I'd say just go normal draft mode or even blind pick if you want to queue faster. Team builder, for example. Team builder is good because you'll always get that champion and that role. So use team builder.
You get guaranteed practice if you're all right waiting out the queue time.
Instead of like, I want to practice this champ, I can't.
That's funny because I went in. So my ranked climb, both seasons that I've actually tried to climb rank, including this one, has been as support, and it's been picking one champion as support and just spamming
playing the shit out of them. Yeah.
And
support's an easy one to get though.
Well, yeah, support's an easy role to get, but yeah. I think it depends on also the type of player you are and what kind of knowledge you can take over to the next champion. So you can, if you play top lane, you play Irelia, you could probably move into Hecarim, for example. Just thinking the first one off the top of my head because I'm not a jungler, because they're both melee. One has a little more aggression than the other. Support kind of works the same way. You can go Annie and then go into another. A mage like Brand, for example, you could potentially walk into him. Other things like that, and I just jumped right. I mean, we tell you not to, and I'll go with that. Don't do it. But I just jumped right into ranked as Soraka one day, and literally never played her ever. Just literally had never played her since her rework. Walked into rank, won my first game with her, and went, "Oh, this is easy. I'm gonna keep playing her." And while I don't recommend that, it's the same thing. You have to go in and do it live, like DeClaude said. It's either you're going to do it ranked, you're going to do it team builder, you're going to do it normals, but you just got to do it live and go learn, and you're going to learn a lot over those 6 or 10 games. Like, I didn't realize that her E rooted, and I was just like dropping both at the same time, but I was still winning games because Soraka's overpowered, but it took me a game to realize that. I went, oh, okay, now I know how to use this.
As a father with a baby where I don't have much time to play, Adam has a point there. I mean, if you don't have much time to do anything else, you're playing ranked to try to get your elo up. You don't feel like you're wasting time because you're actually working towards your goal. That might be the best thing to do. So evaluate the time that you have to play. If you have more time, it looks like you have time because you're doing the crawl, walk, run method. So
or please just do normal draft mode and pretend it's ranked, and don't jump in on a brand new champion that you've never played before and pick up Tahm Kench in the bottom lane as support.
Oh yeah, I want to play him
pick me up when I'm running away and I'm about to escape, and then spitting me into their AD carry.
There are some servers where you don't have draft normals. Like in Oceania, we have Team Builder, which have billion-year-long queues. We've got blind pick normals, and then you've got ranked. That's the only the only things you have. So if you're this person might be from a server where they don't have the numbers that sustains draft normals, in which case I would say definitely go to ranked. But the thing is, in the end, it's just a game. Like, if you lose a little LP, like, as long as you're not being a complete idiot about it. Like, I wouldn't, like, as personally, I don't play mid, so I wouldn't go, oh, hey, Yasuo, I've always wanted to play him, and then jump into a ranked game. But, if it's in sort of in the ballpark, like, if it's something within your understanding, going straight into ranked I don't think is totally unreasonable, because in the end, it's just a game. And, you're only one person. As long as you're not being a complete idiot about it, there's a good chance you just sort of hold your own. You'll do okay. Maybe you won't do as well as you could, but it's just a game. And, you might lose a little LP, and your team might carry, or you might, by some chance, carry your team because It's just the random nature of the way that things match up. Like you just end up being with a team that's really good, play against another team that's trolling and disorganized, and that's just the way it goes. So,
I think a lot of it, if you go in with a new champ into ranked, you might expect to fail right off the bat because you're like, oh, it's new, there's my excuse, I have this to fall back on. Whether you think you can or you can't, you're right.
Oh my god. Thank you, Coach Claude.
So,
way to inspire the listeners.
It might be a mental thing. So go into it thinking, yeah, optimistic. You know, I'm gonna win this. I'm gonna kick ass with this champion. Yeah, and then if you get disappointed at the end because you lost, whatever. But if you go into it all Eeyore, nobody, you know, I'm gonna suck. This blows. This new champion. Oh my God, it's so difficult. You're probably not gonna do that well.
So this kind of goes back to what are your goals with solo queue, right? I mean, if you're in it, you're in it for the long haul, and eventually I'm going to learn and I'm going to reach the highest point I can over the long period of time, then yeah, you could, I guess, jump right in the ranked and then, you know, be ready to lose a couple games early, but eventually you're going to climb up. But
at least
if you're kind of like me, where I guess I kind of take the opposite approach. I'm not really adverse to jumping into solo queue and losing, but for example, when I was learning Draven, I didn't take Draven into ranked until I completely mastered him with the mastery system.
Right.
Just because he's so mechanically difficult, I didn't feel comfortable taking him into ranked.
I probably have to sit here and go through every single champion and tell you, I could see you taking this one, I couldn't see you taking this one. Like, I wouldn't take at least the first time into ranked, or Draven, but like Soraka, who's pretty binary, you can, you know, maybe it'll jump there.
Well, and it becomes a situation too. Like, I play a whole lot of different champions. I can tell you I have played like 4 or 5 bot games in the entire time I've played this game. If I play a champion, I'm playing, like, if I pick up a new champion, I don't worry about any of that crap. I just jump into normals, and basically I get into a position where it's like, okay, I have maybe an idea of what these abilities do. I go in and do something. If it works, cool. I keep that in mind. If it doesn't work, my immediate thought is like, okay, that didn't work. Why didn't it work? Was it because I didn't respect the fact that they hit a level up on me and I went in idiotically thinking, oh yeah, are they more comfortable with their champion? Like, there could be a whole bunch of different things, but you look at it like that flowchart sort of mentality of, okay, I tried this, it didn't work. What can I do to potentially improve it on the next time? We're going to do that next. If that doesn't work, go back to the drawing board, do it again. But if you're going to practice something new, I'd say go practice it against real people. Yeah. And if you're jumping into normals, there is a normal MMR. You, for the most part, should be playing against people of your level, so you get to gauge how well you're doing on a champion against people your level. And God forbid you lose. Who cares?
Yeah.
I mean, sure, your losses are normal.
Move on.
I care. I can't
get out.
I can't stand the loss. It hurts my psyche.
You need to speak with Chris. All right.
Yeah. And it makes me sad.
Adam's fragile ego can't handle it.
That's right.
Bring him on.
I have to be. I have to always be winning.
Son of Leonidas, talk to Adam.
Nah,
he needs your help.
He's a good guy. He's a good guy.
Adam needs your help.
Yeah. About the rest of the topics on this podcast, this is one of those where.
What?
I don't know, but people are knocking on my door. It's like the big bad wolf. Go away!
Did you lock your front door?
What?
Maybe while Adam gathers his thought, I can.
Yeah, go ahead, Carrot.
I was going to say, maybe while you gather your thoughts of finding us something to talk about.
Yes, please.
I was going to make mention the OPL finals, not this weekend, but next weekend. So you should all tune in and watch them. It's the Australian Premier League, Premier League. I think it's Pro League, and either one. My team, Chiefs, are in there, undefeated this split, looking good. So,
so it's like the TSM.
It'll be a good spectacle. Yeah. And if not, you should check out the VODs. Go to oc.lolesports.com.
Wait, are they the Fnatic or the TSM of Oceania?
They're kind of like the Fnatic. Like, they're basically just a cut above the rest. Like, everybody, like, there's some good players.
Personality-wise, I don't care about the players and how good they are. Like, whatever, they could be 0-12. I just want to know what their personalities are like.
Yeah, they're probably more like Fnatic. Like, we don't really have, like, there's no sort of, like, bro, because we're Australians. We don't kind of, you know, TSM are very bro-y in my view, from my untrained view.
Australians don't have bros.
So wait.
I thought you had mates.
I thought the
do.
Australian
right,
players
mate.
all played games from their surfboards at the beach.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They just have their desk set up right there.
No,
Actually, surfboard's being towed by kangaroos. They've
Yeah,
actually got,
yeah.
like, it's like
there you go.
and the surfboard is actually an
it's like Santa
alligator.
Claus.
And the
Reindeer.
kangaroos are being chased by saltwater crocodiles.
Yeah, I was gonna say no. The surfboard actually is a crocodile that they ride with the snout tied up, and
Yeah. No,
Yep,
the snap.
crocodile
That's for weak people. You just let them bite. Yeah.
Well, why don't we answer this last question here? I actually kind of wanted Days to be on the show for this one because I thought it'd be really good for her.
I mean, I have a question if we want Days to answer this one. Like,
Okay, yeah.
How about this? With all of the craziness that we've been seeing with like the patches for like the past 6 weeks, that things have been kind of thrown up in the air, whether it be itemization changes or whatever. What is everybody here playing? Like, what are your 3 go-to champs right now?
Mine are my comfort picks.
Yeah, I don't ask DeClaw.
Pints of Haagen-Dazs.
Well, the Claude only plays the
Sion,
same 5 champions.
Malzahar, Pantheon.
My go-to champion
Braum.
right now is Soraka. Like, she is the character I pick. I go into rank at this point in time, and I say support Soraka. I'm that guy. I'm the asshole who goes against everything we've ever preached. I go support Soraka, and then I get it, and then I get in the game, and I have a higher than 50% win rate with it.
I don't think many people are arguing with you if
Such
you
a
say
chill
support Soraka or feed.
I don't say or feed. I just say support Soraka. And
Well, the or feed is implied.
well, right, yeah. of
Everyone
course.
knows.
I'm gonna
This guy's gonna feed if he doesn't get Soraka.
I think it's so funny that
You
maybe
wish.
the person with, I don't know, the potential most aggressive personality on here, especially when things are starting to go wrong, is playing one of the most passive champions out of the bot lane.
I'm
passive
a
aggressive?
lazy ranked player. Let's put it that way.
All right,
I like to
that is-
prop everybody else up and just be because I don't have the only thing I have to think about doing right is making sure everybody gets to the places they got to get to, and I got to make sure places are warded up. I don't have to do
playing
damage, and yes, I like playing Nanny in rank. I'm like, come on, little kids,
Well-
let's go.
So why is Soraka working for you?
Because she's overpowered right now.
Yes, but why?
Wait, only when other people build Spirit Visage.
No, she's overpowered without Spirit Visage just because she makes anybody unkillable through a team
So you
fight.
can you just sustain your partner forever and they just farm up? Or?
You put a bullseye in your chest.
Well, it's mainly because it's kind of like going back to the thing we've talked about privately, where you get those mix of 80 carries, and you never get 280 carries in the bottom lane they're never seemingly on the same level when it comes to aggression and being able to position themselves and being able to attack properly or be able to go on aggressive, be in the defensive. And Soraka kind of fixes all of those little pieces, because if I was playing someone like Annie, it was flash stun, now you have to go in with me, and that's pretty much all I had. Right? It was
If they don't react, you're by yourself.
Right. Same thing with Soraka, or not, excuse me, Thresh or Alistar or Leona. These are all characters, while can be decent or really good in solo queue. The protect or babysit the 80 carry to get into mid game supports seemingly do better, because the 80 carries are not generally on the same wavelength with as you as a duo and bot. So you're playing Janna or Soraka, you are either playing babysitter unless the guy's really aggressive, and then they can play aggressive as well, because they can do damage and root and heal you up and continue to keep that 80 carry so that he does all the damage.
Can we also say that, like, you also have to gauge your laning partner in the first 10, 15 minutes and kind of decipher how they're going to play for the rest of the game? That's a pretty decent part about the bot lane.
Yeah,
So,
less than 10 minutes. You figure it out like within the first two waves.
And I guess Soraka can kind of, okay, you have an over-aggressive 80 carry. Well, if they start taking damage, you can run to them faster to start helping out. Or, hey, you run up and potentially root somebody in place, and there's a giant bullseye of go smack this person real fast. I
mean, I don't know what you guys have been saying about Tahm, but I've been playing him a little bit, and I really enjoy him for the babysitting aspect, because it's like, unlike every other sort of passive, sort of defensive support, if the AD carry does something truly stupid, you can literally remove them from the game for a short period of time. It's like, no, you should not stand there. I'm taking you away from there, and I'm running somewhere else.
I know
with
better than you.
and
Okay.
throwing you out.
I feel that is an awesome part of Tahm Kench's power, but you really have to know what you're doing. And I have seen way more
of course.
Tahm Kench's pick up people and spit them, thinking that they're saving him to spit them into an even worse spot than they were in.
That's my favorite thing with Tahm Kench is pick somebody up, flash into a bush when somebody else walked in there, and spit them at the person to finish the kill.
Can you devour an ally mid-flash? That would be terrible.
Probably
flash
not.
Away.
Well, probably. Probably the game. It depends how the lag is coded or how it's coded.
I haven't seen enough of him. So
all I'm gonna say is, if you're gonna play Tahm Kench, you better be a goddamn god at Tahm Kench, or I don't like you.
I've only seen one good Tahm Kench. It was in low masters, high diamond, because I was watching horseplay. I've literally only seen one, and he was good because he was a good player, but he was also good because the enemy Blitzcrank was terrible at Diamond 1 Masters. Like, the dude couldn't land a damn hook. So, like, it was one of those where it worked well. Yeah, it was pretty cool what he could do. He picked up the AD carry. He played it really well for how Tahm Kench could play, but Tahm Kench still doesn't have a good level 6. Like, at all. Level 6, 11, or 16. So then, like, he kind of...
I have seen so many Tahm Kenches just botch their ult.
It's
so bad.
I've botched every single one of my ults. I'm not ashamed to admit.
To the point where I can't even count on one hand the amount of times I've seen a good Tahm Kench ult because I haven't seen a good Tahm Kench ult.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to use
Agree.
it. Don't you press R where you want to go initially, and then after the person jumps in, you go to that location? Isn't that how that works?
Because they can see where you want to go before they jump in.
I so want to see a Tahm Kench ult like 5 feet away from where they're at, because that would be better than where they've been ulting.
I did that one time. The first time I played Tahm Kench, I pressed R thinking it was going to give me another cursor to push where I was going to go, and then I realized it pinged where I wanted to go, and it was like, jump in! Bloop. Yeah, I'm out.
Yeah. I think that's... That aspect of it probably has... I actually think the consume... Like, you know, taking your champion out of danger is by far the most powerful thing he's got. But I think his ultimate is pretty close to that in terms of power. But it's like Pantheon's ult. It's really tricky. There's a long time lapse between when you use the ability, when it actually activates. It signals to where they're going, like all sorts of stuff. So it's one of those things. I think in the end, it'll actually be more like Rek'Sai's ult. Like, it's not something you use to engage. Right. It's more something you use to... Once you've already done something, you then go to Dragon, or you then go to mid, or you do... I think that's how it'll end up being used.
I guess it could be nice in those situations, too. It's like, you pick up that Baron Dragon just spawning, and you want to take somebody to go do it real quick. Like, it could be pretty solid for that. Or you really need to get that last hit on a turret and go back to wherever you were.
Well, to get this back on topic and to just finish what I was talking about Soraka, if you're looking for like that Soraka Janna right now, those are like, I think those are some of the highest winningest solo queue champions. I can look that up
right now.
Yeah, supports.
So
Janna's
but I'm just saying with those two are also going to teach you how to build properly as a support, and I use properly kind of tongue in cheek.
Well, they're more incentivized to build support items.
Yeah,
support Trundle has the highest win rate right now.
Well, that's because he has a 7-second slow on a 6-second cooldown, or no, it's a 6-second slow on a 7-second cooldown. That's what it is. Yeah. So you can every
perma slow.
Yeah, it's pretty much perma slow.
They can block people.
No, with those two, they protect somebody. They have tools. They have tools to protect, and they incentivize you to build locket, your boots, your McHale's, your frozen
support
hearts, whatever
items.
Maybe. Yeah,
Talisman
your support items. Talisman, yes, I always build Talisman. In fact, I start Talisman on Soraka. So.
Have you ever built Ardent Sensor on her?
Yeah, but only when I have like 4 items. After I'm at my 4th or 5th item, and it's getting late to the game.
Another support I have a lot of success with for similar reasons to Soraka is Lulu. And she plays lane a bit differently, but she also has that ability to protect her AD carry or whoever the enemy's target is through an ultimate, a polymorph, an AoE 80% slow.
Right.
That's why I love her, because she's really good at keeping a single target alive or shutting down like an enemy assassin that jumps in. And she also kind of backs up your team if they don't really have an engage, because she can use her ultimate to follow up on the engage. Whoever in your team jumps into the enemy team, right? If they just jump in because your engage is terrible, you can ult them and you have an AoE knockup, and all of a sudden you got an engage team. Hooray!
A tanky engager. Right there,
you got an engage team. Woo!
And so the way she kind of plays different from Soraka in the laning phase is she obviously doesn't have the sustain, but she's more oppressive with her poke, and that's just how I play hers, through aggressively zoning out the enemy AD carry, preventing them from getting farm, just through constant glitter lances and shields and being an annoying asshole. So that's the support I have success with. You don't see Lulu a lot, and for the life of me, I can't figure out why. I'm sure a support main like Days will come on the show and tell me why I'm wrong, but I have success with her, so that's what I play.
She's annoying to play.
And you've been playing Draven.
Yes,
because Draven's free low.
Draven's my go-to AD carry right now.
Baby.
I still need to play him more in ranked because I haven't been seeing a lot of results yet. But the fact is, when you just look at the numbers on his kit, every ability is insanely strong. And he's strong at all points of the game. And whenever you've got an AD carry that's strong at all points of the game,
that's a whole lot of power.
The Holy Trinity was like this for a long time. Ezreal, Corki, Graves, they were strong throughout all phases of the game. Varus like this for a while. He didn't have a weak phase at any point of the game. And Draven's like that now, and I guess he has been for a while. Just he's so difficult to play, nobody's really picked him up. Draven's got the ability to... His passive gives him the ability to snowball really hard or to catch back up if he falls behind. And he doesn't... If you do fall behind and you're kind of losing stacks on your passive, it doesn't really hurt you that much just because his base abilities are so powerful. The increased AD on Q, the insane attack speed and movement speed on W, the ability to disjoint people mid-dash with stand aside, and the huge damage on the ultimate. He's got the whole package, but he's got to be able to play him.
Yeah, and I guess it's one of those things. As long as you get the catch the cues, when you catch up, you'll catch up in a big way because that's. I mean, I think the best thing they did when they changed his passive was to add in the catching of the cues to add stacks because that just means that as long as you are mechanically competent, you're eventually going to get to that massive power spike from getting a kill or an assist. And I agree. I think Draven is really strong. I don't know if he gets played in the LCS. You don't really see him in the OPL. And I think that also plays into it because people look at those things and think, well, these are the powerful champions. I want to play them. But I think Draven is really great.
Freeze and EU does play him, and Copenhagen Wolves gets Draven banned against them because of that.
Yeah,
because he's put so much time into Draven. He knows how to play him, and everyone who's playing against Copenhagen Wolves knows how scary he is.
I will say it is extremely enjoyable to see a Draven who's able to get enough money from his adoration stack to hit a point where as soon as he catches an axe and throws it at somebody, he just half health their tank.
Yeah,
and
I love it. It's gross.
It's like, oh, just keep that asshole alive.
Yeah,
yeah, right.
Yeah.
We got this, boys.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, as a support, there is almost nothing better than a Draven that's absolutely kicking ass. Like, it's just a joy to watch. So, I mean, I think Vayne's probably the only other champion that's just as terrifying when they're really absolutely cranking.
So, Lee, what are you playing now? What are your
I'm still... I've been playing a lot of Thresh. I think Thresh... I mean, Thresh is just... He's just... There's nothing bad about him. Like, he's not... Maybe there's other champions that are more are better in certain situations, but Thresh is just a great all-rounder. And I hadn't played him for ages, and so I've got back into him, and particularly using Relic Shield as my item because I actually I just hate Thresh's auto attack animation. It is the worst in the game. I know other people say it's like Rumble and stuff. Just freaking hate Thresher. So for me, I've actually set myself a challenge to actually get better at because I observe the pros using Face of the Mountain, and I'm like, I want to learn how to do that. It's going to push me to be better at last hitting, and I've done okay with that, except for the times I missed the big minion, and then Marksman gets really mad with me. And so I've had to. There's been times where I'm just like, you take the big minion, I'll take the small minions, because if I miss it, it's not a big deal. But yeah, man, I just think Thresh is just got so many strengths all the way through the game. I get a bit like.
So much
Draven.
CC.
He just doesn't have a bad phase.
So much utility.
Yeah, it's just great. So I've been playing him and playing a bit of Tahm just because I want to see how strong he really is, and I think he's got a lot of potential. It just comes down to using that ult to best effect, and I think that's the real tricky bit. But yeah, the ability to just go gnome AD carry. You are just 5 pixels too close to that blitzcrank. I'm going to take you away before you get hooked, and I'm going to throw you back. Is just
Or you
so
eat the
good.
AD carry and then get pulled by Blitz and spit out the AD carry
that's
on
okay.
everybody.
I don't mind that. I mean, the grey health thing is so good. Like, it makes him so tanky in lane. Like, just even at early levels. Like, because a lot of tanky champions like a Leona or a Thresh, like in the first few levels, yeah, they're tanky, but they can't take that much punishment. They're still relatively squishy. But Tahm is like, he regens back his health. Like, the damage you take. It's just amazing. And if you get really low, you just pop that shield and you're good. So I'm really looking forward to see like how he gets used and his potential. And I'll be interested to see if they buff him or nerf him. I can't imagine the nerfing, but I'd be interested to see if they buff him, because I think he actually could become really overpowered really quickly just because of the sorts of things he can do, and the low cooldowns he's got, like the ability to actually, I think comboing to get stuns with his Q is actually, there's a lot of potential there as well, because I think a lot of people think, well, I'll try and build up the acquired taste to then consume the enemy champion, which, I mean, that's great, but I think even stunning people is pretty helpful, because it's like a 1.25 second stun.
I don't think I've seen a Tahm Kench.
You can do that at level 1. Level 2, basically, you're doing these stuns like regularly. That's actually pretty amazing.
I haven't seen a Tahm Kench Q3 stack and W to pull them back in yet. I'm still waiting on somebody to do that.
I haven't seen
to eat the champion.
Yeah, you can Q to get the third stack, and if the third stack appears while Q is out, you can press W and pull them into you.
Oh yeah, only with minions. I don't think you can do it to champions.
Yeah, I thought it's minions only.
I still haven't seen that even happen with minions yet.
Yeah, it's just more fun rather than useful.
I have
unless you're a solo lane, I guess.
I have a gripe about Tahm Kench when he eats an enemy champion, especially if he eats any enemy champion that has a dash or an ability like that, because there's certain situations where, like, yeah, that can be helpful, but I've run into times where Tahm Kench thinks he's helping by grabbing somebody just for that person to be inside of him, and the cooldowns reset so they just get away. And, like, it becomes a situation where it's probably people not knowing how to play the champion.
Yeah.
Not paying attention to the timers.
Yeah, not realizing that, oh, hey, I grabbed Zed, but now he's just going to W over that wall that you grabbed him right next to because you thought your teammates were going to be able to kill him, but guess what? He's faster than they are, so what are you going to do?
I mean, I think one of the other challenges with consuming an enemy champion or eating an enemy champion is like actually picking them out in the fight. Like, I don't know what higher level elo is like, but low level elo, it's kind of like kids playing football. That is, they come into a bundle and they just move around the field in this group, and that's kind of like fights. Like, it's hard to actually, there's been a lot of times where I've gone to try and eat an enemy champ and I've actually grabbed an allied champ instead, and that's pretty disastrous in the middle of a team fight. So that's something they can work on, is to make it like maybe so you prioritize enemy champions when they've got an acquired taste, like those 3 stacks. But yeah, that's a bit of a tricky thing. But I mean, I think the value is just, it's a 3-second CC, hard CC. Like, it just completely removes them from the game for 3 seconds. Like, that essentially means you can pretty much wipe out the enemy team, and then you let out the person, and then you can just 5v1 them because everybody else is dead. Like, I think that's, even if they've got an escape, like, it's pretty hard to escape 5 champions. So anyway. That's how I've been playing.
Kind of make me want to play Tahm now.
Please don't.
I've got shotgun and Tahm Kench tonight with Draven.
No. And actually,
Are you really?
The best thing about him,
No.
when you get stacks of when you got his Master Chef skin, when you get a couple of stacks on somebody, he actually, like, his tongue hands out and he pulls out a knife and fork and he charges around with his he's ready to. It's amazing.
That's awesome.
It's like
I hate Tahm Kench's
just
model.
one of those little things that's fun.
I hate Tahm Kench's model. I hate the champion, but I'm playing it. I was gonna play him since you picked it. Yes, it's happening.
No.
You
don't have to.
No, I'm going to. We're playing.
You can play Soraka and show me the power.
Yeah.
I already did show you. Remember when I was
I don't
wee, and I was running around, and
I was drunk. I don't remember anything.
Well, you're gonna remember tonight when I play Tahm Kench.
Oh no.
So let's start rolling this podcast up a little bit and bringing it back in. So I want to talk to Carrot here momentarily. We always tell people to go listen to the OzLoL podcast, but listen, you got the floor for a second, so I'll tell people why they should be listening to you, because every time you come on, we get more and more listeners. So
yeah. So I mean, we have a lot of fun talking about League. We don't do a show twice a week, so we're always talking about patch notes at the moment. So if you want to hear even more discussion, just a different perspective on patch notes, that's the case. And of course, the OPL. I mean, it's a great, fun series of games to watch. And there's the games the final, not this weekend, but next. So we'll be talking about this week, actually tonight. So tonight my time, tomorrow morning your time, America. So yeah, we'll be talking about the finals, and it's very exciting. Basically, the team that went to the mid-season invitational wildcards. It's looking like they're going to be going to the Worlds invitational, or no, the wildcard invitational. So there's a potential that we actually might get an Australian team into the World Championship, because they'll have a good opportunity to learn and do well. So it's an exciting time for the OPL right now. So and we get excited. So yeah, awesome. I guess like any other podcast, we just try to have fun. We try to keep it interesting. And yeah, everybody says Aussie accents are great. So
yeah, I was about to say you have the sweet accents. So
they are.
Yes.
I'm getting a little hot.
that might be because your door's closed.
How do you not get lured in by those accents? I don't understand it. It's beautiful.
Well, we just hear it all the time, so it's just the standard for us.
Lee, what do you think about the American accent?
Which one?
Okay.
You have one?
Which one? Yeah.
See, the thing
Southern,
is, like, New York. If it's 80% of television is American accents, so it's kind of like
it just kind of rolls over the years.
Yeah. See, I'm more partial to something like a Scottish accent, like any girl with a Scottish accent. I'm just like, your
wife's not home right now, is she?
No, she's not.
Yeah.
But she knows I have a thing for the Scottish accent. Like, she just knows.
That's funny.
So yeah.
All right, guys. I think we're gonna call it there, guys. Go listen to the OzLoL podcast. You can find them at trinityforcenetwork.com. It does get posted there. Post on the subreddit, on YouTube. You can find it on Twitter at OzLoL podcast, at Carrot Colossus, and all the other guys who are over there doing a good job. Just if you see that Victor Bradley guy, just give him a giant boot in the ass. So good night, everybody.
Good night, guys.
See you guys.